everybody. Live from not the Circle Leadership headquarters, but somewhere a long, long, long way away in a magical land of mystic and unicorns and glitter and rainbows and last minute call-ups. Actually. So happy Thankful Thursday. Shout out to Davo, who is out and about just doing some amazingly epic work in the world. And he called me up, been promoted to the Dave Clare live stream, where we're going to be chatting around productive versus busy. Now, I said to Dave on the phone just before, yep, I can absolutely go all in on you for that. Our community, the world is going to get there. Keeping it real wasn't going to be having a customer-facing workday version of the Humicorn today. So here we are, keeping it real. You're welcome. And I trust that everybody is having a great day. So let me know where you are, what you're doing. I'd love to hear and see from each and every one of you as we get into productive versus busy. Now, I was chatting to Dave about this before, and you will have seen a bunch of content and resources come out around this concept, come out around the notion of productive versus busy. And I can put my hand up and say, I am guilty as charged for this, where people say to me, Lisa, how are you? How have you been? I'm like, busy. And I'm like it's a thing going, yeah, busy, as in it's a good thing. And I wear it like a big old badge of honor, because if I'm busy, I'm not being lazy. And if I'm not being lazy, then maybe I'm worthy of love, or I'm worthy of sales, or I'm worthy of engagement, or I'm worthy of something because I'm busy, because I'm actively out there doing something. Surely that's going to be rewarded in some way, shape, or form. So we're busy. We here we go, Davo. Oh, see, how the tables have turned. I'm usually the one here spamming him on his stream, and he's going to spam me on his own live stream channel. Anyway, it's fun. It's fun. Love that for you, Dave. Do not miss the Mitchell southbound on this time of morning, 8 o'clock in the morning in Perth. But please do drive safe. So we talk about the notion of being productive versus busy, and we wear our business like a badge of honor, where we think that if we're busy doing something, at least we're doing, and we'll be rewarded with something because we're doing. We're not just sitting down. We're not just doing nothing. We're not just being lazy. I don't know about you, but if I could get a result, the exact same result that I was looking for, and I could do that in 2 hours versus 5 hours, what would you choose? Like exactly the same result. And I talk about this to people in the gym all the time. You see people there doing 3-4 hours a day at times. And that was me. That was absolutely me as well, where they're there doing the thing. And I was like, what if you could get that result? What if you could get that same result in your body, in your mind, in whatever you're going for, but you could do it in a lot less time, with a lot more focus, with a lot more clarity, with a lot more direction, and you could align yourself with what you're trying to do and get that done in a shorter amount of time? Would that be of interest to you? Is that something that you would love to have a conversation about? And sometimes the answer is no. It seems like obvious that it would be yes, but sometimes the answer is no, because people actually love the process. People enjoy being there. It's a big part of their life. It's giving them more than just this linear result that they're going for. Because when we do something, or when we want to achieve something, or when we're actively busy, whether we're productive or efficient or not, when we're doing something or being something or wanting something, I'm a really big believer, and feel free to challenge me on this, please. I'd love to hear from you, in that we only ever want something because we think we're going to feel better in the having of it. So around this productive versus busy notion, my question to that would be, do we only ever keep ourselves busy because we think we're going to feel better being busy? Who feels better being busy? On one hand, maybe, because it might be alleviating some guilt or some past trauma or some past conditioning around laziness. And if I'm lazy and if I'm not busy enough, not doing things, I'm going to get judgment. I'm going to be snipped off from love and connection. Maybe there's something around that. So we do feel better when we're busy. I'm speaking from experience here, by the way. I am not lecturing to anyone here. I know this so hard. So sometimes, yes, being busy feels better. If you're going through stuff, if you've got some big things happening in your life, and Dave and the team will know this to be true, that's when I love to show up to work. That's when I love to be doing things and keep yourself busy. You know, when there's been some big trauma and things are going on, and a lot of the unsolicited, albeit well-being advice that we often get is just keep yourself busy, just keep your mind off it, keep yourself busy. But then are we snipping ourselves off from the opportunity to be able to deal with that and move forward? So on one hand, being busy, yes, we can feel better being busy, but are we busying ourselves in order to avoid something? Or are we busying ourselves in order to appease a certain thing that, or program or conditioning that's running on in the background that says that we need to be busy, otherwise we're going to be judged, or otherwise we're not going to feel good, or otherwise something's going to happen that we don't like based on what's happened in the past. So there's that. On the other hand, though, when you say you're busy, it's like, I feel justified in my busyness. I feel justified in my life because I'm here doing the stuff and things, but I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I can't keep going like this. My adrenals are absolutely smashed. I'm so tired that I can't sleep now because we're so busy. Now, busy is a great thing to be, but is it possible that we could be effectively, or what do we say? Effectively? Excessively. All of the E words. I'm going to get into them in a sec. Excessively productive instead. What if you could be excessively productive, working on the things that matter most at the right time for the right length of time? And what if you could be being effective first and foremost, where your effectiveness is at the top before you're efficient? Because you can be really efficient at playing the clarinet upside down. You can get really busy at learning and practicing how to play a clarinet upside down. You could get dope at that shit, man. You could be like, yes, I am so good. I can play the clarinet upside down way better than anyone else I've ever seen. And you can be super efficient at it. But is that the most effective way to play a clarinet? Thank you for coming with me on that journey. That is the randomest thing I've ever thought of for an analogy, but we're going to roll with it. Andrew Priestley, thank you for being here, friend. Staying busy is therapeutic, as in grief. Neurotic busy is not productive, or an executive or CEO is too expensive. I'd love to hear a little bit more about what you're leaning into there, Andrew. I'd love to hear some more from that, but thank you so much for being here, and please do drop back in there. And I think you're right. I think there's a lot of truth in that staying busy can be therapeutic, and I think it's effective in helping us continue the momentum of showing up and moving forward with life, as life does throw paintballs or snowballs or bits and pieces. And she won't mind me saying, but a very good friend of mine, and a shout out to these guys as well. And a very good friend of mine has just buried her husband, my cousin, 38, 3 little kids. And we were chatting, and she said, Lisa, it's actually been really great. She makes jewelry, and she had a big festival coming up, and so many people going, oh, cancel, you should cancel. Like, geez, you know, you've just, your husband's just died, all of that type of thing. She's like, no, guys, I actually love that I can sit here and make these sunflower earrings and be out in my community, and it gives me a reason to continue to show up and get out there. And she's very conscious, and I think that's the key there, Andrew. She's very conscious in her application of keeping busy. She understands what she's doing. She's not just keeping busy for the sake of being busy's sake, so she can avoid all of the things that are going on in her life. And I think that can be so helpful in that. I think that can be so helpful in that. So Michael May, thank you for being here. Spot on, as are you, my friend. Look, I'll have all of the hundreds of dollars as well. That's great. But 100%, we love 100% as well. Hundreds of dollars, 100% for all of the hundreds of dollars. So this is just a little bit about And just to get you thinking today, there's not a lot of workshopping today. There's not a lot of models around productivity versus busyness. And look, we're not going to sit here and say, oh, you should. We have a process at Circle Leadership. We have a process that we utilize and we use that's really, really helpful in helping us be effective versus efficient, or productive versus busy. So we are effective and then we're efficient. So as we get effective at, that's right, we were talking about the clarinet. As we get effective, as we can learn how to do something properly, as we're starting to apply ourselves in the way that's going to be helping us shift forward, then we can get better at that and do that quicker. That's great. That's what we kind of want to go for, with effectiveness first and then efficiency coming in after that. Thank you, Andrew. I've seen your comment there. We'll pop that up in a sec. So effectiveness first, efficiency second. So we do things right. We don't just get right through it. But then when we get into a rhythm and cadence of that, how we can actually be effective and efficient, not just throwing mud at a wall for the sake of saying I was busy today. And it was interesting. Yesterday was one of those interesting days for me where I felt like I didn't stop all day from sun up to well past sundown. But then when I sit here and go, what have I got to show for what I did today? How was I effective? I wasn't efficient yesterday, but I was effective. I had lots of great conversations, built a lot of rapport, a lot of relationships, and added a lot of value into people's lives. But it's tempting to judge myself saying I didn't do good work today because I wasn't efficient. I didn't tick things off a list, but I was effective because at that time, in those moments, those relationships, those conversations, that value that I was able to add to those people's lives, which is such an honor and a privilege to be able to do, might I add, that was the most important thing at that time for that length of time. And so therefore, I was effective yesterday, and I can stand in that and my self-esteem could go, actually, no, Lisa, just because you didn't tick a thing off a list, I'm trying to get my list, but it's failing terribly here. Just because you have nothing on your list apparently and you didn't tick it off, it doesn't mean that you weren't good. It doesn't mean that you were lazy. It doesn't mean that you're bad, especially coming from the background of conditioning that I think a lot of us can relate to in old school business and old school corporate, where they sit there and they measure, what did you get done today? Like, I never forget, we used to have to write down every half an hour, we had to report in what we were working on and where we were up to, what we were working on and where we were up to. And so your worth was measured on what you got done, your efficiency, your busyness, but it wasn't necessarily effective. Andrew, clinically, when someone is suffering emotional pain, being busy, it's therapeutic. I agree. I mentor CEOs who think being busy is indicative of effectiveness, but at the level that you're paid for, productivity. Yes. Yeah, it's that is such. There is so much there. That's such an amazing realm, and I just want to say thank you to you, Andrew, for being there and doing that work there with that group of people. I love the opportunity to see and honor and help the people who are helping the people, and people in leadership roles and CEOs and those high executives. They've got so many people that they're showing up for, so many things that they're showing up for, and to have people like yourself who is the person helping the people who's helping the people, I just think that's amazing. So thank you for being there and doing that. So that's pretty much it from me today. Like I was saying before, we don't have a lot of workshops. We don't have a lot of whiteboarding and model, like we have models and things around this, but we're not going to go in them today. It was more, I wanted to come to you. It was a bit of a humicorn hijacking on your Thankful Thursday, or even Wednesday evening if you're watching this in the US. Hello to everybody on that side of the world as well. Just to really get you thinking, do I wear my busyness like a badge of honor? Am I unconsciousness in my application of busy? When someone asks me how I am, is it my go-to? What if I actually stop and took a breath and said, how am I actually? If I wasn't busy, what would I be? And it's not a case of someone asks a question, I need to give an immediate response, and that's just on the front of my brain, because that's another really interesting conditioning that I can't remember who I was talking to. Might have been a mentor of mine, and she was saying that as children, generally, well, I know I was conditioned to, when someone asks you a question, you be a good little girl and you politely answer and you answer quickly and you give correct information, and then that's that. And so now when someone asks us a question, we think, oh, we've got to have the first thing that's there. It's got to be correct. It's got to be done, because when someone asks a question, it's now my responsibility to answer it straight away with factual and politely, whether I want to answer that question or not. And I just wonder if we are asked the question, how are we? What if we took the time just to take a little bit of a breath and just ruminate on that, even just for 2 or 3 seconds? It's not being disrespectful to the person that's asking the question. In fact, it's honoring them and showing that you honor them enough to actually take a breath and to take the time to really be thoughtful and conscious in the answer that you're giving them. You're not going to look like an idiot. You're not going to look like you're wrong and you don't have all of the answers because you don't have something straight away. But if I ask someone a question and they really stopped and thought a moment, how am I? And then answered that from that space rather than going, oh my God, I'm so busy. Blah, 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 blah. What if we got a little bit more conscious? What if we stopped? What if we took a breath? And what if we could actually, in that moment, interrupt that busyness pattern and give ourselves a break from that? Give ourselves a break from that. Busyness isn't good for business. I just wrote another article about this, Dave, about for a different column that I write for. Do we have this idea that busyness, B-U-S-Y-ness, busyness, is a prerequisite for business, B-U-S-I-ness? And I think because busyness and business, I don't think that's a mistake, that those words are very similar, and that we associate and they link together strongly, busyness with business. When it's busy, it's good because, Michael's hundreds of dollars are coming in, right? But if there was a way that we could be generating health, wealth, and happiness for a lifetime in a way that's effective and efficient, not just making hay when the sun shines, which of course you have to do. But if there's a way that we could be more efficient with that, and we could be excessively productive, working on the right things at the right time for the right length of time, we don't have to use busyness to escape. We don't have to wear busyness as a badge of honor, and we can just get really conscious with what we're working on, what the most important thing is right now. And that process gets to be fun and enjoyable. And then the other question that I was asking this morning as well, and I'll leave you with this. And I have a Post-it note on my fridge now that says, Lisa, just because you can doesn't mean you want to, should, or have to. Because I am such a glutton for finding myself in a situation, finding myself in a circumstance where I can participate in something, where I can indulge in something, when I can eat something. That's why the Post-it note is on my fridge, because I can. And because I can, I do. But stopping and asking ourselves a question: is this actually something that I want to do? Is this a game that I want to be playing? Is this an axe is this a tree I want to be cutting down? Or have I just found myself here and I'm just madly doing things? I'm busy doing things in something that I'm actually not even sure that I want to be doing, need to be doing, and how the heck did I get here? Abraham Lincoln said, if you give me 6 hours to cut down a tree, I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. And maybe one of the ways that we can get into more effectiveness and more excessive productivity rather than busyness is just stepping back and taking a bit of time to sharpen that axe, so that when we are swinging, it's effective. We're doing a good job at it. Proverbially, literally, maybe if it's winter where you are, not just getting really good at swinging a blunt axe. Thank you for being with me today. It's been so good to jump on here and see all of you. Thank you for playing with me and coming along on the journey. Dave will be back next Thankful Thursday, and we're going to be talking about fast execution. Oh, I say this every week. I know that we shouldn't. I feel like that the content that Circle Leadership delivers is a little bit like children. You shouldn't have favorites, but I do. But the problem is, well, it's not even a problem. It's a challenge. All of it's my favorite. It's all amazing. I love it so much. But fast execution is one of our key pillar pieces. And I'm so excited for Dave to be back next strong to be able to deliver that to you, because at Circle Leadership, we don't have weeks, we have strongs. And if you've loved this and you want to come along for more of the same, tomorrow morning, Australian Eastern Time at 9:30 a.m. I don't know where that is, wherever you are in the world. I will be on live on Circle Leadership across Lisa Ufberg platforms as well, chatting more and going for a little bit of a deeper dive into effectiveness, efficiency, busyness, and excessive productivity. Which would you prefer? Have an amazing, thankful Thursday. Grateful for you all, and we will see you again soon. Bye.